A teacher that has had a very significant impact on me is Robert Boustany, the legendary yoga teacher in Houston, Texas. You can see old video of him practicing under the direction of Patabi Joyce alongside Doug and David Swinson and David Williams and Nancy Gilgoff and the greats of Ashtanga Yoga. He's been teaching in Houston for decades. So when I was working at Yoga One, I started to feel myself plateau as a yoga teacher. And so I asked around, who's the best person to learn from in town? And I received two names, Lex Gillian and Robert Boustany. And some of the teachers I'd worked with, like Tara McGuire, had learned from Robert Boustany. So I went with him and his studio, Pralaya Yoga. At the time, I was teaching a meditation class on Tuesday nights, and I gave it up, which was sad, but I gave it up in order to study at his yoga teacher training, which was very interesting. At the time, it was conducted like an open clinic on Tuesday nights, if I recall correctly. So what that means is a person would come in with some kind of problem, like their hip is bothering them, their back is bothering them, they're having limited shoulder mobility. And Robert would work with that person, and he would ask them some questions, perform kind of an examination, and then he would describe what he believed was going on in anatomical terms, and would ask the person to perform certain exercises or movements, or he would perform manual like release, self-myofascial release, basically inhibiting one muscle and then asking the person to strengthen a different muscle. And this often worked, often incredibly. And so what I learned from Robert in that is you can be of tremendous help to people. You can help people overcome pain, to be free of pain. And what it requires is an excellent knowledge of anatomy and exercise science, and the ability to really closely observe and listen to the person in front of you. So that was very, very helpful. He also taught yoga, a very kind of intense form of yoga, which was in part derived from Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga. And so in order to better understand Robert's Pralaya Yoga system, I studied Ashtanga Vinyasa Yoga. And that was very, very helpful for me as a teacher. And now Ashtanga Yoga is my preferred form of yoga to practice, with some caveats. But stuff started to get weird, man. How this happened. There's this yoga teacher named Aaron, and he invited me, and I don't remember who, a couple of people, to try some meditation, or attend this meditation group with this guy, Patrick Lovett. And he was a strange guy. He was very intense. He claimed to be a Taoist priest, and he had this kind of bad boy attitude and cursed a lot. So I tried one meditation class with him, and I was like, yeah, no. This guy, bad vibes, no thanks. Aaron also introduced Lovett to Boustany. And Boustany had done various forms of Qigong and Tibetan energy meditation. And so he was very interested in what Lovett had to say. He eventually invited Lovett to teach or to have a meditation group hosted at his studio. And things started going strange. Lovett was able to recruit a lot, not only Robert Boustany, but many of his senior teachers into this meditation group. And part of Lovett's presentation of Taoist energy work has a lot to do with sexual energy. So he started teaching people weird meditation techniques in regards to sexual energy. And I believe that he started really messing with people's minds, and eventually formed a kind of Taoist sex cult within the Pralaya Yoga studio. I saw this happening, my friends saw this happening, and several of us stepped back from the studio. I remember scheduling and having a conversation with Robert in which I expressed my concerns about what I believed was going on and its negative effect on him and his community. But at the time, Robert had totally drank the Kool-Aid and believed that Lovett had spiritual powers and a deep spiritual connection with Robert himself. And I was like, okay, I'm out. I'm not a part of any Taoist sex cult, and it's difficult for me to learn from Robert. It was difficult for me then to learn from Robert when he was involved in all of that. So I stepped away. Eventually, I believe that meditation group dissolved. Some senior teachers quit and went on to do their own things. There were more scandals that happened at Pralaya Yoga that I don't really know about because I haven't been a part of that community in a decade. But eventually Pralaya Yoga closed and Robert has gone on to do other things. Patrick Lovett died of an aggressive form of cancer. I've heard other nasty rumors about the guy, about things that he did to women. Gross, gross dude. So what did I learn? On the positive side, I learned about the importance of anatomy and understanding exercise science, especially reciprocal inhibition. That has been very, very helpful for me in helping the development of my body and the bodies of my clients and students. I also learned the importance of empathy, of really closely paying attention to the person that I'm working with, to try to closely observe and sense what's going on in their body. And on the negative, I learned be careful with whom you associate and to carefully vet people and to guard your community against predators. Next, I will talk about another influential teacher named Robert, who shrank his life so much that he disappeared.